It's snowing again tonight. The kind of snow that falls in big, lazy flakes, blanketing everything in quiet. Ethan sits on the porch steps, staring at the yard, at the little wooden cross sticking up out of the snow. He doesn't feel the cold. Not anymore. "I'm sorry, Charlie," he whispers. "I should have noticed sooner. I should have been there. But the snow just keeps falling, and the night just keeps getting darker." And Ethan remembers. It started 10 years ago in this same kind of snow. Ethan was only 8. His father had left 2 months before. No note, no goodbye, just packed a bag and disappeared into the night. Since then, Ethan's house had felt like a cave, silent, cold. His mother worked double shifts. Ethan barely spoke anymore. One Saturday, his mom said, "Put on your coat. We're going for a ride." Ethan didn't even ask where. They drove through town to the animal shelter. It smelled of wet fur and bleach, and the sound of barking was deafening. Row after row of cages lined the walls. Big dogs, little dogs. Puppies barking wildly, old dogs sleeping in corners. But at the very end of the row sat a small brown mutt, quiet, calm, watching. When Ethan crouched down, the dog wagged his tail, once, and pressed his nose against the bars. It was like he already knew. "What about this one?" Ethan asked softly. His mother smiled. "If that's who you want." That day, Charlie came home. Those early years were magic. Charlie was Ethan's best friend, his shadow, his protector. They played in the park until dark. They built snowmen in the yard every December. Charlie always stole the carrot nose and ran laps around the yard with it in his mouth, tail wagging proudly. When Ethan scraped his knees on the playground, Charlie licked the tears from his cheeks. When bullies teased him at school, Charlie waited at the gate, his head cocked and his leash ready. Ethan whispered secrets into Charlie's ears at night, lying awake in bed. "I miss Dad," he'd say. Or, "Don't tell Mom, but I'm scared of the dark." Charlie never told a soul. Ethan grew taller, stronger. His voice dropped. Life got busier. He started hanging out with friends more, staying out late, texting instead of talking. But no matter what time he came home, Charlie was always there, sitting at the door, tail thumping weakly against the floor. When Ethan brought home his first girlfriend, Charlie sniffed her hand shyly. When Ethan got his driver's license and started driving around with his buddies, Charlie waited by the driveway every night, watching the dark street for headlights. Even when the hours got later, even when Ethan stopped saying goodnight, Charlie still waited. By the time Ethan turned 18, Charlie was 12. His muzzle was gray, his eyes cloudy, his legs stiff in the mornings. He couldn't run anymore. Some days he barely made it up the porch steps, but every evening he hobbled to the window and sat there, waiting for Ethan to come home. That winter, the snow was heavier than usual. The cold seeped into Charlie's bones, making him shiver even by the fireplace. One night in December, Ethan came home well past midnight. He was exhausted, his mind elsewhere. Charlie stood, trembling, wagging his tail faintly when the door opened. Ethan muttered, "Hey, boy," without even looking, and went straight upstairs. Charlie lay down by the door, curling up in Ethan's scent, and closed his eyes. The next morning, the sun glared off the snow outside. Ethan stretched and called out, "Charlie! Come on, boy! Breakfast!" Silence. When he came downstairs, he saw him, curled up by the door, still, one paw stretched toward the stairs, as if he'd tried to follow Ethan one last time. "No," Ethan breathed. He fell to his knees, burying his face in Charlie's fur, sobbing harder than he ever had. "I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm so sorry. You waited for me, and I didn't even see you." That afternoon, they buried him under the big oak tree in the backyard, the tree where Charlie used to nap in the summers. The ground was frozen, but Ethan dug anyway. His hands blistered, his nails cracked. His mother stood by with tears in her eyes, but he waved her off. When the last bit of earth was patted down, Ethan sat by the little wooden cross for hours, even as the snow started to fall again. "Thank you, Charlie," he whispered through tears, "for waiting, for everything." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He thought he heard something, faint, almost imagined, the sound of paws on the porch. He got up and went to the window. In the fresh snow outside the door, there was a single paw print, just one. Before his eyes, it disappeared under the falling flakes. But in his heart, he knew. Charlie was still waiting, somewhere. And then, just before he drifted to sleep, Ethan remembered that first day at the shelter. The quiet dog at the end of the row. The wagging tail, the cold nose pressed to his palm. "What about this one?" he'd said. And even now, even after everything, he swore he could almost hear a faint bark in the wind, as if answering, "I choose you too."